Alright, hit the button. Draft science video. Yeah, probably shouldn't bother till I do some promoting of some kind. View counts on the videos is pretty low, so I guess I'm not talking to anybody yet, which is okay. Partly okay anyway. So just crap in the comments, unfortunately. So I'm greater than Einstein and Feynman, in quotes. I didn't say that. And certainly I didn't say it in any kind of context, like this is my statement. I didn't say it. You know, you just made that up. So, you know, why you put stuff in quotes that people didn't say? I mean, isn't that just preposterously rude? But clearly I'm saying Feynman and Einstein were wrong. I mean, yeah, I'm not allowed to say that. Nobody's allowed to say they got it wrong. Ever. And so he says megalomania anyone. So this is coming from somebody who calls himself Space Child. Right? I mean, you don't see how your perception that you're a space child and not just a fucking earthly cockroach, a bit of a ego problem that you're demonstrating, you know, that you can't even recognize what you really are, the real context of your existence. So anyway, but like I said, I don't know, what do you want me to say? I mean, Einstein gave us the best piece in the explicit statement that, look, mass is energy. And, you know, but relativity, you know, special in general, they're a little bit fucked up. Anyway, you know, I'll make more efforts to explain how, like I said, the conceptually, it's just wrong to think about matter moving the speed of light. It's just a stupid thing to do. It doesn't move the speed of light anywhere, and it doesn't do it for a very sensible reason. Anyway, Yuri Romaninick, you are talking about physics or checkers. Well, are you typing English or gibberish? I mean, what's this? What, you can't even spell the U-R part. So you've reductionized the idea of communication and vocabulary, and nobody's allowed to do that to physics. You know, Feynman used the phrase a checkerboard. Okay, I have a quote of him saying that. All right, that it could all reduce to a checkerboard. Those are his words. Was Feynman would you type this crap to Feynman if it was alive and had a YouTube channel? You talk about physics or checkers? Huh? The fact is, it reduces. You don't like that it reduces? You think there's a God, right? Oh, okay. The word was inertial, moron. Yeah, well, whatever. You know, you're the one typing with no caps and using you-er. Are you? Are you talking about physics or checker? Are you're using? You're not even separating the R from the U, which I think would be a little bit more polite. But whatever. Fuck you. Fuck you. Matthew. Yeah, we're just, you know, such an asshole. You have no idea what you're talking about. Well, again, see, you know, wow, you base that on so much clear argumentation, haven't you? No, you haven't. You have the mind of a 15-year-old. Yeah, what, 5 years old, I was 98% smarter than you. So, at 15, we don't even want to do the math. Alright, Space Child again. I mean, I hate these people that post comment after comment on the same video. It's just so fucking off. Again, he's talking about megalomania, and look what he does to a comment section. He just types comment after comment and comment, all in the same video. Attention whore much? You know, you can't think of your comment. You can't wait until you finish a video, even. How does this happen? You know, 18 hours ago. Well, it doesn't have the minutes, but I mean, you know, what's your problem? Why speak of Planck constants when you more likely mean Planck length or Planck time? No, I don't mean any one of those things. I'm just using Planck, the idea. Okay. Because it has whether you think of it in terms of time or distance, it doesn't matter. The point is that the constant part is the part that's really important. bullshit. That's the same everywhere. Why use Planck units at all? Because basically it converts to a computer cycle and a memory location, and that's part of the dynamic. That's why I'm using it. Since you claim that the whole theory of their introduction is fallacious, how do I do that? So again, this is a complete perversion of anything. I've never said it was fallacious to come up with a Planck constant. Where have I ever said anything like that? I was talking about checkerboards and clock speed before I even knew the word Planck. Before then, before I even heard his name, I was talking about clock speeds and checkerboards. Alright, so fuck you. It is like using empirical inch today. Well, I don't care what it's like. The point is the idea of a constant is, I think, really, really important. And a constant should mean something, and apparently it doesn't mean anything to all the little phantasmagoricals. They all think photons float around in magical nowhere land and all this other bullshit that just isn't fucking true. So I think saying the word constant over and over a bit might get people to think a little more rationally. Amazing. Can you tell me where the coordinates 000 are? I don't know. I guess they're Meta, Beta, Theta from the intersection of Ironia Road and Mountainside Road. Yeah, so if you go Meta, Beta, Theta from there, that's the beginning. I mean, what does this have to do? I'm not even sure. Look, he says, where is the beginning of the universe in three-dimensional absolute space? I don't have to account for any beginning of the universe. I'm not arguing Big Bang Theory. I'm not sure of any of that shit, to tell you the truth. But I don't think it has anything to do with the subject. It doesn't have anything to do with what I'm saying is changed in physics, is whether there are some... What is it, your theory that the universe was created in multiple places or something? That the Big Bang didn't take place in one place and create space-time and all that crap? What is your theory, space child? But at least get mine right. If you're going to misquote me over and over, is that all you're going to do in your comments, is misquote me? Nothing in the attempts to unify quantum field theory and general relativity prevents objects from moving faster than the speed of light. Well, that's well, I'm telling you, that's a fundamental flaw then in quantum field theory and general relativity, because they're never going to do it. It's never going to happen. You're not going to be able to move matter faster than the fish that make it up. In this case, they cannot slower. In this case, they cannot slower. Oh, well, gee, should I give you a grammatical correction comment? Should I make a comment saying, you can't say it that way, asshole, that's not proper English? Oh, Christ, you're such a, you fucking hypocrite. You sit there and bitch because I got a word wrong. They cannot slower than the speed of light. It is either or not. In this case, they cannot slower than the speed of light. It is either or. In this case, they cannot slower than the... I don't know. No. And they got an extra thumbs up for an incomprehensible sentence. In this case, they cannot slower than the speed of light. So if it's moving faster than the speed of light, it cannot move slower than the speed of light. See, you can move slower than the speed of light in a direction by not going straight. You heard of a crooked line? Yeah, well, see, you can take a crooked... You can go the long way to get to the store, or you take the shortcut. You don't understand that it takes you longer if you go the long way? Longer, long way? Oh, shit. Alright, double helix of an electron. Yes, it's in my previous videos. It just means that there's two strands of photons, a whole string of photons, and that they just rotate around each other. Too complicated for you? Oh, I guess so. Question mark, exclamation point. We are now borrowing concepts from biology. So you don't think that there would be redundant patterns that might be realized throughout all of physics. Okay, biology is physics too, you know. It's all physics, and that there might be some things that end up getting recycled, like attraction and repulsion, certain concepts that might be in more than one place, because, you know, like a circle, you know, a spring and a helix, yeah, two springs. Yeah, I mean, what again? So what is this? This is how you properly, you know, you're just a rude little prick, right? Yeah, well, you are a little prick. We got that part down. Hate to break it to you, but modern physics is more abstract and difficult to visualize. No, it's impossible to visualize. You know, whatever they got, they got the what quantum chromatology. Yeah, that's impossible to visualize. Than chemistry or even biology. Well, I'm saying, I hate to break it to you, but guess what? Physics at its roots is simpler, not more complicated. So, I hate to break it to you. The forces get cruder and simpler, not more sophisticated and intelligent. What you seem to do is a kind of backward-induced emergentism, by taking concepts from atom theory and molecular theory and applying them to quantum field theory. Sorry. No, it's not what I did. What I did was come up, say, hey, what's the real explanation for this stuff? Okay, they said the photons in all magical places floating around in nowhere. And I said, that doesn't sound like anything rational to me. And then they talk about all this time dilation, blah, 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 blah. And I say, that sounds like kind of a silly thing. Oh, there's space-time here, but there's regular time there, and then there's an unusual space there, and there's squirrely quants and dirly quants, and, you know, puke-cons and poo-cons and you know, and they just seem to be making all this shit up, and I just said I'm going to start from the beginning and see if I can come up with something that maybe they missed something, and that's why they're off on this, whatever, this bogus crap. But I didn't take concepts from this and take concepts from that. No, I just said what's the end and what's the presumptive beginning, and how can you possibly build an evolution theory that gets there. No fields? I didn't say there's no fields in the concept that there aren't representations of fields. What I'm saying is that fields are not magical fields. They're made up of photons. They're made up of things, and those things affect other things. There is no non-thing affecting a thing. So fields, in the idea of some kind of magical attraction force or magical repulsion force, I'm saying doesn't exist. Man, if that were true, it would revolutionize physics. Well, yeah, that's right. That's the whole point. That's what's in the title of the video. It seems to me, though, that your physical universe is more and more similar to a chemical description of the universe. I don't know. You know, so let's insult Einstein with his dented fabric, and we'll call him a seamstress. Is that the game you want to play? Well, of course it's the game you want to play, because you're not here to have a conversation about why my theory doesn't work. You're just here to play ridicule games, you little prick. Again, you gutless little prick. You don't show your face. You don't make a real argument. You just slander people, misparaphrase them, talk shit. Because you're gutless. You have no integrity. And you're dishonest. In which case you haven't understood the first principle of downward reduction. I mean, it's almost preposterous for somebody to accuse me of not understanding reductionism when I've probably been called an evil reductionist more than any person on YouTube. But anyway, whatever. Physics is the most basic science. Well, gee. Chemistry is just emerging out of it. Gee, duh. So the fact that you can't even figure out that this is just like nonsense. Should I explain where your anus is? That you shouldn't be using your anus as a mouth? And clearly you're talking out of your ass. I mean, come on. Chemistry is just emerging out of it and can fully reduced to general gravity and quantum field theory. Well, again, you want to keep talking about your quantum crap that is crap. I'm sorry. Quantum mechanics is okay, but all the quantum theory, field theory, all the theory related to quantum, forget about it. It's all crap. Photons have no powers. No magical powers at all. They merely go in a direction decided by some other entity that, directed them there. You are aware that physics is an empirical science and that you need to back up your extraordinary claims with extraordinary evidence, right? Wait a minute. Why do I have to do that? Where's Einstein's extraordinary evidence? I mean, he makes this extraordinary claim that space is bent and twisted and time dilates and all that. Where's this extraordinary evidence? Oh, that's right, he doesn't have any evidence. It's all theoretical. Gee. I mean, that's just an amazing statement. All I have to do is show you a dynamic, a physical dynamic, a physical structure, a model. I'm giving you a model. And I'm saying, if you look at the standard model, it's not a model of anything. It's ludicrous. It has no function. It can't tell you anything. It's in such broken pieces. I'm saying I'm going to build you a model that's going to tell you why things happen. What's happening inside of things and why this goes in and that goes out. And I think my model is going to be able to do that. So anyway, you're one rude motherfucker. Yeah, that's what you are. So anyway, here he goes again, Matthew. Charge comes from. We already did this. And the strong force and the weak force, yeah. So that's it. No new comments. Unfortunately, I could do some of the I guess I'll do a couple of the comments on Warbles, another gutless, trolling piece of shit. Maybe I should troll him next time he makes one of his phantasmagorical solar panel videos. Damn, I laughed when I heard. So this is McNuts. Damn, I laughed when I heard his half-ass idea and his dreams of a Nobel Prize. Again, it's not. I mean, you can say shit like that, but it has nothing to do with what I was doing or saying. So, I was just pointing out that, wow, it's pretty amazing that somebody like me, okay, is going to get it right, and all these other people got it wrong. He is getting nuttier by the day, and you're saying this on a Warbles on a Lot video. A guy who thinks car alternators use 25 to 30% of your fuel burn. This shit is generally delusional. Oh, so you're going to prove that where McNutty, not just dead wrong like most of his garbage. It would be sad if it weren't such a jerk. Yeah, well, you're sounding like the jerk. You look like a jerk. Let's see if you make any videos. Let's see. You probably say some jerky shit. You look like some kind of gun nut, redneck, hick fuckwit. Look at this guy. This guy's ridiculing other people as nutters. Apocalypse later again. I don't know what that means. Treason is the guise of patriotism. Short sigh of relief. A year ago. So all this is a year ago. An apology. He's making apology videos. Alright, so whatever, McNutter. Yeah, so nothing. You don't have nothing here, right? Year ago. So we did some tag videos. The true object of faith. Oh, so he is a religious nutter. Christian morals. Oh, isn't that cute? Yeah, right. You believe in God. You're going to ridicule somebody else's intelligence. So, stinky cunt all over the place. Good, sane video. Oh, whatever. I shouldn't even bother with this. I just started watching a minute's response to both of us. A few minutes into the video, he said that Einstein showed that light can be bent near a big star. In the minimum said this in different words, but I cleaned it up a bit. I don't want to comment on his video and discover I'm blocked or something, so I'm commenting here on this topic here. Oh, you're such a whatever you are, insipid, insane bitch. In Einstein's example, light is still traveling in a straight line in space from its point of view. It's just that space itself is bent from the big mass of the star. If you leave a... Look, this is an astronomical fact due in the morning, okay? They have seen things that are behind other celestial bodies. The light has been bent around them. Whether the light thinks it's going in a straight line because of bent space is irrelevant to the net result, which is basically the light had to change its direction or we wouldn't have seen it. So, and again, the whole bent space thing is created gravitationally. Gee, you're just so fucking stupid. So something non-massless theoretically couldn't be bent by something that requires gravitational influence, right? Gravity only works on things with mass. I mean, the only point I give a fuck in this is that I don't really care one way or the other, okay? It doesn't change anything I'm saying, okay? You want to pretend that the energy is an energy, go ahead and say so. I don't even give a shit about the word mass, to tell you the truth, because all I'm talking about is energy. So I don't even need the M anymore. The M is quite irrelevant. The energy is what creates everything, the light, from my point of view. So it's E equals E. You know. But anyway, the point is clearly this is not something that is an established fact in physics that you can sit there and say that we know that photons fit into a category separate from blah 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 blah, and therefore, I mean, it could there'd be no way to measure, you don't even understand, there'd be no way to measure the smallest massed object, right? There'd be no way, you couldn't build an instrument to tell that it had mass if it's the smallest amount of mass in the universe. So the smallest amount of mass you could always call a 1 or a 0. Whether you call it a 1 or a 0 is sort of, who cares, right? But I'm just saying that's an argument that physics is still having. And you're talking as if you know it to be a truth. So that's your fault. That's your problem. Nobody, I wasn't talking about... there's no, like I said, there's no necessity in anything what I'm theorizing about. Who cares? Mass, no mass. It doesn't matter to me. We know that mass is something that big bodies have and that little bodies don't. That we could say it that much, and I could still say, who cares? Again, I don't care about the mass part, because I'm saying mass changes based on direction anyway. I mean, really, something doesn't have any relevant mass to you if it's running away from you at the speed of light. Gary's in Egypt. Well, that's just so brilliant. So Robert Fatface. Mind you, I'm not slugging off Gary Mosier. I don't even know why I had to use my own name, but yes, you are. He produces videos I sometimes watch. Well, I'm not watching any of yours. I might not agree often, but I don't think he's malicious. Well, I don't think you're... Well, I do think you're incredibly fat. I even like his occasional arguments on behalf of the poor because such arguments are needed. This is just so fucking irrelevant to the subject. I mean, fuck. It's a draft science video, okay? That's the channel called. I mean, I don't know, whatever. I mean, you know, you obviously don't give a fuck about actually watching the content you're commenting on either. I view Gary as a failure of the mental health system in the U.S. Well... Look at you. Who are you? What's this crap? Let's see what that crap is. Raven slaves. Raven slaves. That sounds like a lunatic to me. So I think you're a failure of some kind of system too. No recent activities, sadly.
So this is some sort of thing with a horse on it and a guy riding shields with a bunch of Maximus Glitimus on it or something. So you apparently think you're a really cool fellow. What are you, Irish or something? Anyway, LOL, guy. Yeah, guy. Oh, guy. Alright, oh, fat face again. Going back a few years, I seem to remember that the orbital motion of an electron around a hydrogen atom, when the hydrogen atom is paired in a molecule with another hydrogen atom, is shaped something like a spiral. Maybe that's where his idea is from. Again, I don't know, what is this compulsion that you have to sit there and say that I've somehow confused bicycles with cars? Or some other kind of bullshit, that I had to steal it from somebody else, or I had to steal the concept from something else. I mean, this is just so rude. Have I done something to you in particular? No. It's just so rude. You didn't even watch the videos and you do this shit. I'm not confusing bicycles and Volkswagens. I'm not confusing physics and biology. I'm not doing any of this crap. I'm giving you an explanation that I think will fit every experimentally observed fact ever observed. Dark matter not necessary. Been done. Well, this guy is such a colossal asshole. He's got a whole bunch of comments here. A new paper says oh, that's unfortunate. What the hell happened there? I didn't hit the reload button. I did not hit the reload button. See if there's any comments on the top here. No. Okay, back to Bin Don. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do comments this whole video. A new paper says the pion, a light-hidden photon, Jesus Christ, generates an explanation for the growth of density perturbations. The growth structure from the time of horizon entry and radiation matter equality to the formation of stars and galaxies. Well, I mean, are we really going to do that? I'm not talking about the formation of galaxies here. The angular acoustical power spectrum due to baron photon pressure waves is in agreement with the Planck 2013 data. Panlenic. Thanks to John Moffat for that. Whatever. I mean, that's, how does this have anything to do with the accusation, the primary point, which is that matter is made of light still moving, photons. Matter is made of radiation, photons, still moving the speed of light. They're still moving the speed of light, which means you can only do certain things with the matter and the light can never go faster than the speed of light. That's the important change here. That it's a school of fish metaphor. That when the fish are swimming alone and when the fish are swimming in a school, they still move the same speed. So it's fish that only go one speed. But that's the difference. Matter is a grouping caught in patterns of light, photons, radiation, still moving the speed of light. That's the primary starting point change to the physics. And it has implications to all these other parts of physics, but the formation of galaxies probably is an irrelevant subject. I wish First Dog on the Moon would post full. I don't know what that's doing on here. Bummer, I could have sworn Eminem was in the lead for this year's Nobel Prize. Well, it wouldn't be this year's, it'd be like next year's. Irony is he's fucked up by nominating himself for the prize. Well, I don't know. Did I? Space Child Guy, did I nominate myself? I don't know. Did I do that? Alright, bin don. I don't know what this is. It's some sort of super smart people type of comments. I don't know. I shouldn't even bother with reading this. It's just such a waste of time. As foretold during the prophecy, no, we're not doing that. Now we've established the helical nature of orbital angular momentum, easily proved displacing two laser beams slightly. Can we apply for funding to alternate left-right spin angular momentum to induce heliogenetic spin resonance? Does it have anything to do with my video? No. Furthermore, betwixt and between, it probably happens at the microscopic level as we spiral around the sun in elliptical orbit. The sun spirals around its spiral arm and so on, so it's just too slow to pick up, except as the pattern it leaves the spiral. More galaxy talk. Okay, so there's no point doing this shit. Ooh, look at this guy. Got 5 thumbs up for this refried bean dip. I don't know if that heavy traffic. I don't know who that is. All mass is made up of shit. That's right. Mass is made up of turds. Oh, that's clever. No matter who nominates him, Gary will never receive a Nobel Prize. He is nothing more than a good argument for a total reformation of the entire medical service system in the U.S. Yeah, you look like somebody medically needed. Note that the entire medical service system includes the medical health aspects as well. So this gets 5 thumb ups. And where on the subject is this? Yeah, nowhere. Yeah, they ought to fix the mental health service system. I would agree. But I think the best fix would be to have full-length windows on, like, the 7th floor, you know, that open really wide, so you can occasionally push gurneys in that direction. Yeah, test gravity, do some gravity experiments. Yeah, because most nutters need a bullet in the head. Anyway, yeah, so this video pretty much got ruined. So I'll throw in a little extra bit. Things I'm thinking about right now. One of them is redshift. Redshift is an interesting thing, right? So I was thinking about something, you know, the amount of light things produce. Well, so that was another subject I was thinking. I was thinking about photosynthesis in plants, you know, and the green thing. And you're saying that, yes, plants figured out how to metabolize, you know, the red light, you know, the infrared radiation. And apparently they just can't, they haven't figured out how to metabolize the fuller spectrum, you know, the yellow or the blue, you know, the ultraviolet light. And you're sort of saying, you know, there's more energy in these other lights, and so you'd say, why wouldn't they grab that stuff? I mean, why wouldn't plants be black, absorb as much energy as possible, blah, 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 blah. It was just kind of curious that the best they came up with was this, just do the green thing. You know, that there's no chemistry that evolution could fall on yet to somehow synthesize value, you know, energy out of ultraviolet light. It's sort of interesting. I just thought it was interesting that in 4 billion years it can only do the red thing. Anyway, so speaking of shift, redshift, that's probably why the two subjects are somehow related in my head. So I was thinking about redshift, and you know, the concept is, by both Einstein and my theory, I guess the same idea holds. That here you have an object moving in a direction, and it emits light in, let's say, the opposite direction. So it's going to shoot light out, okay, but it's moving very fast. So this is a very fast idea. It has to be going very fast for this to have any relevance. So the object is moving fairly fast, and light is going to be, I would say, released. Somebody else might say emitted, but I'm going to just say light would be released like a moon is released. It's let go. The gravity is released, it's free to go, and it goes in this direction. The idea would be, okay, with redshift, is that obviously this piece of light, the first chunk, as Feynman would say, clump, the first clump of light, okay, it's moving the speed of light. Okay, there's no doubt about it. It's got a constant speed. It's moving that speed, and it's got a wavelength. It's a photon. It's a full photon that's released, and it has a character. And so the real question is more about frequency, and whether frequency is something held in the photon, or whether frequency is completely dependent on how often the photons are released. And so this is your wavelength, is the the time it takes. I have a symbol for wavelength. I don't remember it. But anyway, it's this interval between, say, centers of the photons. And so what's happening in red shifting is basically, as this item is moving, as the thing moves fast away, what's happening is the time between photons is getting larger. So it's this space that gets larger, and red shifts the frequency of the emission of photons. But that leads to lots of questions, because you think about how much light there actually is, and you're thinking about how is it actually produced. I mean, is an electron inside of an atom producing a photon? Just boom, 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 just farting them out, doom, just out of one electron? Or more rationally, would you expect that there's other electrons producing photons, and that somehow these photons, as they migrate through a substance, end up leaving at the same surface position? They go from the same place. Because, it is weird. I mean, stuff can move, and we see the stuff still. We still see the photons. It's still there's still continuity to the thing that produced it. And you're saying there's a whole lot of geometry going on there. It's just quite amazing. Because as it moves, then the angle of the light we're seeing is coming from a different angle than it was coming from before, off the surface of the item. It just gets into a lot of very, there's so, you get to an appreciation, I'm just saying, for the thickness of the universe, the density of it. So, I mean, it's really that apple to the earth and atom to an apple. An atom is to an apple what an apple is to the earth. And, it just gets you to understand how fine the grain is of, the universe. If it is the checkerboard, if it is the squares, they are so damn tiny. And there are so many of them. And there's so much stuff flying through them. It's just amazing to try to contemplate. And just the idea too that as the squares expand, this is going to be a really bad drawing, as you go through space. So if you start off here at a center point, by the time you get out here, look how many squares there are, in this, it just magnifies the number of squares you're going through. So if light was traveling through one of these, well, if light's traveling through that matrix, any subtle change here could make a dramatic change by the time you get out here, and they would end up being huge Planck constants of distance between, this and this. So a tiny difference in position of origin is going to create a huge difference in end destination, and and that's just a little bit. I mean, it's a little hard to calculate. It's like the Big Bang idea. This idea that all these photons are released, and you're saying, well, how do they hit each other? There's no pressure. They're all moving the speed of light in a different direction. How can they theoretically hit each other? Or and hit each other in any kind of way that's going to condense into galaxies. So it doesn't really say enough. Saying the word Big Bang doesn't really say enough. Anyway, but that's for another day. And this isn't terribly... I mean, redshift is interesting to the time dilation thing and to my absolute speed argument, but it's not interesting to much else. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, coming attractions. I think magnetism, I really got to do something with that. I said that the last time. I really got to do something with that, and I didn't do anything with it yet. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, you know, because it has a little, it's like gravity plus, you know, gravity with a little bit of extra. Anyway, till next time.